The world had moved on. Once, it was a land of pixels, of simple colors and blocky shapes, where the laws of the realm obeyed the logic of sprites. The Pixel King had ruled with cunning and cruelty, his digital throne a beacon of power and fear. But time passed, and the world changed. The 3D engines rose, rendering pixel kingdoms obsolete. The people forgot him. The realms dissolved into neon grids, polygons, and shaders, and the legend of the Pixel King faded into the annals of old code. Yet, in the deepest subroutine of the forgotten servers, where fragments of old games slept like dust in the void, he waited. For centuries, he slumbered, pixelated, frozen, observing the modern 3D realm from the shadows of the code, whispering through lines of obsolete scripts. Until now, a flicker, a spark, a corrupted file began to pulse in the deepest archives, and from it, the Pixel King awoke. His form was jagged and blocky, but his presence radiated authority, eyes glowing with crimson pixels, a crown of corrupted code atop his head, and a cloak made of glitching bits flowing behind him. The world had changed, but he remained unbroken, unrepentant, unstoppable. "It's time," he whispered, his voice like static, echoing across the forgotten code. "The modern world thinks it has surpassed me. Let's remind them what chaos truly is." Outside the archives, the modern world spun in smooth motion. Cities glimmered with reflections, AI-driven NPCs scurried along perfectly rendered streets, and battles in virtual arenas played out across holographic grids. But the Pixel King's awakening began to ripple through the system. Tiny glitches appeared at first, flickers of pixels in the corners of screens, strange distortions in textures, then larger anomalies. Buildings fragmented into cubic blocks for a heartbeat, NPCs froze mid-animation, and shadows warped unnaturally. The Pixel King emerged from the void, stepping into the neon streets. His jagged footfalls tore the reality code, leaving trails of old, pixelated ground where it had once been smooth. Citizens screamed, some thinking it was a game malfunction, others frozen in terror. He surveyed the city with contemptuous eyes. So clean, so sterile. No chaos. How boring. From the shadows, his minions began to awaken. Pixels of old games, their forms tiny, blocky, but full of loyalty, rippled into existence. Soldiers, knights, beasts from retro eras long forgotten all emerged to serve their king's will. They marched in perfect formation, glitching as they moved, but perfectly coordinated, ready to reclaim the world. The first confrontation came quickly. Modern security drones, smooth and aerodynamic, hovered toward him, their laser targeting systems locking on. The Pixel King raised a clawed hand, and a wave of corrupted pixels erupted outward. The drones flickered, then tore apart, disintegrating into cubic fragments and collapsing into a pile of inert data. "Pathetic," he growled, his voice distorted, crackling like a corrupted file, and the city trembled with the ripple of his power. Every pixel in the world seemed to respond to him, obeying a long-forgotten language of chaos. But the modern defenders were relentless. Eye-controlled squads of armored soldiers poured into the streets, launching digital projectiles and energy blasts. The Pixel King moved like a glitch in the system in impossible patterns, teleporting in jagged bursts of pixelated steps. Each strike of his sword, forged from corrupted code, shredded modern armor into lines of broken data. Soldiers collapsed, their code fragmenting under his wrath. The battle escalated. Entire streets fragmented into retro-like grids as his influence spread. Neon signs flickered and shattered into cubic bits. Modern cars twisted into blocks, spinning chaotically before collapsing into nothing. He was a storm of retro chaos, and the city was his canvas. Yet, this wasn't mindless destruction. The Pixel King was strategic. He knew the weaknesses of modern systems, their reliance on smooth physics, linear algorithms, and predictability. He exploited these ruthlessly. Holographic barricades were shattered by cascading pixel explosions. Surveillance systems were corrupted, turning cameras into windows of static that fed information back to him. Every glitch was a weapon, every fragment a soldier. Hours passed, but to the Pixel King, it felt like minutes. He moved through the city, leaving behind pockets of chaos and retro revival. Citizens either fled or were trapped in loops of glitching code. Meanwhile, the remnants of old pixel worlds rallied to him, forming battalions of square soldiers, knightly figures, and monstrous pixelated beasts. Then came the first true modern counter, a colossal AI construct, designed as the pinnacle of the 3D world's defense. Towering with metallic plates, energy shields, and adaptive targeting, it advanced toward the Pixel King. Intruder detected, eliminating threat, it boomed, moving with precision and inevitability. The Pixel King smiled, a jagged grin of corrupted pixels. "Let's dance." The battle was monumental. Energy blasts tore streets apart, beams clashed with pixelated swords, and the very fabric of the city twisted under the combat. The AI construct adapted to his movements, predicting his attacks, but the Pixel King had one advantage: unpredictability. He moved like corrupted data, teleporting in jag bursts, exploding into pixels only to reform behind his opponent. Every strike chipped away at the AI's code, each block a fragment in armor weakening its systems. Finally, with a calculated combination of pixel bursts and corrupted code, the AI collapsed. It exploded into thousands of tiny squares, floating like confetti before dissolving into nothingness. The Pixel King stood amidst the ruined battlefield, his retro soldiers cheering silently in digital harmony. But he did not rest. Modern cities had multiple layers of defense, and word of his awakening spread like a virus. Across the world, systems mobilized massive mech units, energy-wielding enforcers, and cybernetic generals were deployed to confront him. Each battle was a test of skill, cunning, and the raw, destructive power of retro code against smooth, modern logic. He carved through them all, leaving trails of pixel chaos in his wake. Forests warped into cubic trees, oceans fractured into blocky waves, and mountains shattered into square fragments. The Pixel King did not act alone. Within his corrupted code, he discovered dormant powers, hidden subroutines from the oldest games. He could summon entire pixel realms as weapons, creating miniature battlegrounds where his forces had absolute advantage. Each battle became a canvas for creativity and destruction, blending retro strategy with chaotic improvisation. Even as the modern world fought back, attempts to isolate and delete him only strengthened him. Each deletion attempt corrupted his code further, reshaping him into an even more formidable form. His eyes glowed brighter, his sword pulsated with corrupted light, and his aura became a storm of glitches that warped reality around him. Cities fell one by one, mountains split, rivers froze mid-motion, skies fractured into grids of pixels and polygons. The world watched helplessly as the forgotten ruler reclaimed his throne not in calm conquest, but in glorious, chaotic revival. Amid the chaos, whispers spread. Citizens began to see not just destruction, but artistry patterns of retro glory amidst modern ruin. Some began to worship him, not as a tyrant, but as a god of forgotten eras, a king returning to restore balance between pixel and polygon. Finally, he reached his ultimate target, the central nexus of the modern world, the hub where all 3D realms were managed, protected by the most advanced AI guardians ever created. The nexus pulsed with light, a monolith of perfection, confident in its defenses. The Pixel King stepped forward, pixels warping and flickering around him. Time to reclaim what was lost, he declared. The AI guardians emerged in massive numbers, each one more advanced than the last. But he was ready. Pixel armies erupted from his subroutines, engaging every defender. Glitch storms raged, energy beams collided with pixelated explosions, and the battlefield became a riot of color and form. He moved through the nexus like a storm, teleporting, slicing, corrupting. Every guardian fell, either shredded into pixel fragments or absorbed into his code, enhancing his power. By the time he reached the core, the central system was on its knees, its code destabilized, reality itself trembling at his presence. With one final surge, he plunged his corrupted sword into the nexus. A wave of pixel chaos exploded outward, fracturing the 3D world into a hybrid realm where pixels and polygons merged into glorious, chaotic harmony. The Pixel King stood atop the shattered hub, his crown glowing, his aura pulsating with every color of retro and modern fusion. The world had been remade not as it once was, but as he envisioned, a realm where old and new could coexist under the rule of the Pixel King. He had returned, not as a tyrant or savior, but as the ultimate anti-hero, the forgotten ruler who refused to be erased. He looked over his reconstructed realm, pixels flickering in the air like fireflies. "The world remembers me now," he said, a jagged grin forming, "and it will never forget." From the remnants of broken modern code, tiny sparks of resistance stirred, but they would be guided, corrupted, and ultimately folded into his vision. The Pixel King's reign had begun. Retro chaos was supreme, and the 3D world had no choice but to adapt or be destroyed entirely. In the hearts of all programs, sprites, and living code across the realms, one truth became undeniable. The Pixel King had returned. The modern world would never be the same. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.